He was more than just a wrestler. He was a global phenomenon. Born Terry Bollea, the world came to know him as Hulk Hogan, the red and yellow powerhouse who revolutionized sports entertainment, from slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 to leading the NWO and WCW. Hogan defined multiple eras of professional wrestling and, well, unmatched charisma in the iconic call, "What You Gonna Do, Brother?" when the Hulkamania runs wild on you. He inspired generations of fans and wrestlers alike. But his journey wasn't without controversy. A career full of highs and lows, personal struggles, and public battles, yet through it all, his impact on the industry is undeniable. Hulk Hogan was the face of a movement, the voice of a generation, a symbol of wrestling at its peak. Whether you cheered or booed him, one thing for sure, Hulkamania will live forever. This is the Pro Wrestling Show, and this is our tribute to the immortal Hulk Hogan. Hello, everyone. This is Kendrick Diggs here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We celebrate the life, the legacy, and tribute of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan played a pivotal role in sports entertainment. And you see right here, this is the images right here you see of the Hulkster. Hulk Hogan played a pivotal role, like I said, on everything that he did. Like I said, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. Here on the Pro Wrestling Show, we talk about this. The immortal Hulk Hogan has passed away at the age of 71 years old due to cardiac arrest. Hulk Hogan paid a mounting tribute, not mounting tribute, but he paid the price throughout his whole legendary career on what Hulk Hogan was. Let's get to it right here, right now, on what you people had to say, your reactions to the Hulkster passing away at the age of 71.
As an entertainer, Hulk Hogan was larger than life. He dominated the professional wrestling world in the 1980s. He appeared in movies. He opened bars and restaurants and became known around the world for ripping off his T-shirt. He had a personality that took over the stage.
I've seen some great tag teams in my time. Hulk Hogan and, ooh, yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage.
But this morning, he was just a patient that needed help.
My friend here, Brad, came to me and said, "Hey, Hulk Hogan died." I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, he just lives around the corner here."
Trent Travis and his friend were working around the corner when fire rescue came to Hulk Hogan's home.
And then we saw helicopters flying, and fire trucks came in, and police cars blocking off streets.
A short time later, he was taken to the hospital.
It was discovered at that time Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan, was experiencing a serious medical-related issue. Personnel provided medical treatment at that time and transported Mr. Bollea to Morton Plant Hospital, where he died at 11:17 a.m.
All right, you saw right there the reaction on the package from a news affiliate about Hulk Hogan passed away. Hulk Hogan paved the way for a lot of wrestlers like John Cena, like The Rock. Hulk Hogan paved the way for them to get from in the ring to out of the ring into Hollywood and become credible athletes, such as Batista as well too. Hulk Hogan paved that way, paid tribute to what he once was. That the Hulkster right here. He had a lot of controversy. Who can forget about the controversy he had with Bubba? He had an affair with Bubba the Lunchbuz's wife, and that led to open a can of worms about Hulk Hogan didn't want to date his daughter at the time was dating a black man. He didn't want his daughter date a black man, and that opened a can of worms. But Hulk Hogan was controversial with that. Hogan played a pivotal role throughout all of media, from WrestleMania 1 through 9. He was a leading force of that WrestleMania coming that way, as well as a whole bunch of stuff. He went to WCW. He turned WCW upside down and changed the fortunes to WCW when it was a struggling regional southern promotion. He turned it national with his brand and his identity to get WCW where it was at the time against the WWE. Hogan was the face of the WWE for many years in the 1980s that helped build the gap and helped bridge the gap. Hogan was that, as well as Hogan was a reality star. Who can forget Hogan Knows Best? Hogan appeared on Hogan Knows Best with his family. It opened peel the layer of Hogan being a family man. Hogan was trying to help his daughter at the time, Brooke, become a pop star. She had that one single, and that was it. But Brooke became a pop star due to Hulk Hogan's name and expertise. Also, too, Hogan, not too long ago, recently, was a year ago, was supporting Donald Trump to get Donald Trump as president of the U.S. And Hogan helped with his Hulkamaniacs do what he needed to do to get there. And you see right here, Hogan with the WWE Hall of Fame, right here, WrestleMania returning. He really put WWE on the map. And I think WWE will be ever forget, forever internal to him. And you see right here, Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. And we saw that Hogan paid tribute, former WWE champion, was a former ambassador. Hogan paved the way for a lot of stars at his time. And a lot of people are still reacting to it. Now, let's hear what you people had to say. I don't know why you bring Rival into this, but people had a lot to say on Hulk Hogan's reaction. Let's hear what you people had to say on Hulk Hogan's death right here.
The mood definitely somber here as one pro wrestler reflects on the impact Hulk Hogan had not just on him, but on the wrestling industry as a whole.
What Hulk Hogan did was actually the impossible. To be the most recognizable professional wrestler on the planet, whether it's movies, whether it's branding, but mostly just for his in-the-ring charisma and persona, is something that will never, ever, ever be duplicated.
Other fans telling us they found the news of Hulk Hogan's passing hard to believe.
We were so sad. We couldn't believe it. We didn't see it coming.
And with that, you crossed the bay because of that? Trying to get more to the store?
Yeah, we came all the way from Oldsmar to come get some merch.
Agudelo telling us she grew up in the Hulkamania era and treasures those memories.
I remember my mom got me all his collections as a kid, like all the bears, all the headbands, and the shirt, and I've had it to this day.
And for those who were more than a fan, but also a friend to Hulk, who made his presence often known in and around his hometown of Clearwater, his passing leaves a huge hole.
Getting to be friends with him and doing events alongside of him is probably one of the most surreal and cool things that ever happened in my whole life.
All right, you saw right there Hulk Hogan. The tributes keep on pouring in. Hulk Hogan was somewhat beloved, but complicated. He was a complicated man, but a lot of people loved the Hulkster. The Hulkster was that. Who can forget about his try against Gawker, won against Gawker, that $1 million lawsuit. Hulk Hogan was that. Like I said, he wasn't just a wrestler. He was the face of an era. It born Terry Bollea, the world knew him as Hulk Hogan, who turned the professional wrestling space upside down and into a global spectacular. Like I said, Hogan was that. Hogan led to many of the things that he did, you know, from slamming the mighty Andre the Giant at WrestleMania. Who can forget about that slam? That slam was the slam heard around the world. The Hulkster at WrestleMania right here. This is the slam that heard around the world. Andre the Giant got slammed, 500 pounds of Andre the Giant, and Hulk Hogan slammed him. Hogan slammed him into headline in Madison Square Garden. Hogan was just not just in the ring, but he was the ring with the 24-inch pythons, a bandana, unmatched charisma. Hogan ran wild in the 1980s and beyond, inspiring kids, families, and future legends. Then, like I said, he revenged himself in WCW. The NWO become Hollywood Hulk Hogan, shocking the world all over again. But fame came with some personal trials and personal scandals and controversies that would test his legacy. Still, though, the highs and lows, Hogan's place in wrestling history remains unmatched. An icon, a trailblazer, a name the world will never forget. Like I said, this is Hulk Hogan, and this is our tribute to Hulk Hogan. Let's look at what Hogan did. Let's see what Hulk Hogan did with the community and with
Usually
the
when I come to Providence or Boston or this whole crazy Northeast, I'm body slamming giants or winning world titles. But today I got the loyal fans that have been watching me for 40 years here to try Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer, because we're bringing America back together one beer at a time, because we're a lot more alike than we are different, and I'm here to tell everybody that. Yo, maniacs! Hulk Hogan here, the greatest of all time. I've got Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer. We're gonna body slam America and bring America back together one beer at a time. So what you gonna do when Hulk Hogan, my Real American Beer, runs wild on you?
All right, you saw right there the Hulkster almost a year ago promoting his beer line. Hulk Hogan had that Real American Beer that he was promoting. I know he came around towns trying to, right here, a lot of people supporting Hulk Hogan I know their childhood, and I know a lot of them are still sad and upset, but Hulkster was promoting that beer. I think WWE had a little part in the beer as well, and Hulk Hogan was that. He was a living legend at the time. Like I said, with families, people around Hulk Hogan really did, in some instance, care, but then again, he kind of had his flaws that he should have had worked on. He never did so and stuff like that. But like we said, Hulk Hogan paid way and paid tribute to who he was and what he was all about, and showed that real American side. I know Donald Trump really leaned into Hulk Hogan being a pivotal role winning the presidency, and you can tell right here Hulk Hogan was liked by many others, but he had his flaws. Some people just didn't like him, and due to his recent actions and stuff. So Hulk Hogan was a complicated character, but he really could have made amends with a lot of people, but he chose not to, even with his own family. No, I don't get that, but hey, to each his own. But Hulk Hogan really was that true American at the time. He represented America in the 1980s, and what he stood for and what he was all about. Now we're going to go to a lot of famous personalities' remarks. Let's look at what WWE star Titus O'Neil had to say.
Hulk Hogan was one of the most polarizing characters in the history of the industry, helped shape so much for so many of us that came behind him. And, it's unfortunate. The health issues and things that he's had to battle over the last, several years with back surgeries, etc. But at the end of the day, professional wrestling, a large part of it and where we are today, and the box office gates and pay-per-views and things like that, are a large part of that definitely has to be credited to Hulk Hogan.
Titus O'Neil, the star of the King's Court and WWE legend Titus O'Neil, gave his remarks. Here's what the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, had to say.
So I just remember, WrestleMania 3, he's fighting Andre the Giant. And look, I was a kid. I didn't know that it was choreographed, right? I was really worried that he was going to be able to do, but he slammed Andre the Giant. That was a huge thing for kids in that era. And so, he and we were with him just a couple of months ago. My kids got to meet him and everything. So I was really sad to see that. And our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and people throughout this region of Florida, because I know so many people cared about him. We are here today to continue our record.
All right, you saw right there Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, giving his paying his tribute to Hulk Hogan, watching Hulk Hogan as a kid. And Hulk Hogan was that. Everybody knew Hulk Hogan. If you didn't know professional wrestling and you knew the word Hulk Hogan, you knew who Hulk Hogan was. You'll say, that's that wrestling guy. Yeah, Hulk Hogan really did paved the way for that, helped professional wrestling right here. This was the governor was talking about. Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. And like they said, the slam heard around the world. Hulk Hogan, waving to the crowd, reunited at WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan paid tribute to right now. Well, we know that the Hulkster really had more fans. Here's what another fan, you know, Terry Crews from America's Got Talent, the host of America's Got Talent, he made tribute as well. Let's listen to what Terry Crews had to say.
First of all, it was down to the mustache, the head wrap, the ripped off shirt. I was going, what in the world? You don't understand. I was going, that's what I did. But this is real life.
Wow.
And I couldn't, it was crazy. You know, back when, years ago, when all this stuff was starting, back when it was Trump Hillary, I was getting calls from Time Magazine. They were like, hey, we see, you know, a lot of resemblances of what's going on. I was like, yeah, but it'll never get that far. I was like, oh my God. We officially have went that far.
Yeah.
All right. You saw Terry Crews, the host of America's Got Talent, talked about how he tried to emulate Hulk Hogan in that movie Idiocracy or something. Well, we saw that, and Hulk Hogan's played a role and played tribute, I guess, how Terry Crews is and stuff like that. Well, we got a bonus for you right here. Match that happened in Ohio. Hulk Hogan was defending the WWE Championship at the time, nearly 40 years ago, against Big John Studd. Here's a match right here, right now. All right, you saw right there a lost gem that Hulk Hogan took on Big John Studd. Big John Studd was a giant. He was calling himself the true giant of WWE at the time. Remember Andre the Giant with that $15,000 body slam challenge at WrestleMania 1 that led to the success of WrestleMania. Hogan did play a pivotal role at WrestleMania 2. Him and Mr. T teamed up to take on Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, along with Muhammad Ali, Billy Martin, and Liberace, all those late greats, except Mr. T still alive. Everyone from WrestleMania 1 has passed on, except Mr. T. Mr. T is the only person from that WrestleMania main event that still is alive and hanging and banging, like the hoster used to say. Well, speaking of that, a lot of wrestling personalities as well paying tribute to the Hulkster, and they're giving their flowers to the Hulkster at the time. Here's what Hulk Hogan meant to a lot of them. You can see where Hulk Hogan promoting his beer at the time. Eric Bischoff, the former executive of WCW, Bischoff paid tribute to Hogan as well as this is right here. We told you I think about a week ago that Hulk Hogan wasn't looking too good, and there was hearsay about Bubba the Love Sponge, what he was saying at the time, but many people didn't want to see to believe, but we didn't know that Hogan was on gravely ill a little bit. But like we said, moments that Hulk Hogan shared. He shared the ring with Andre the Giant. WrestleMania 3 will go down as the biggest 93,000 plus was in the Silverdome in Michigan. In Detroit, when this match happened, Hogan shocked the world and slammed Andre the Giant. It was the slam heard around the world, and Hulk Hogan was a part of that, slamming Andre the Giant and propelling professional wrestling from the 1980s wrestling boom, as well as another 1980s wrestling boom. Who can forget about the Mega Powers as Hulk Hogan teamed up and joined forces with the Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. That started that Mega Powers. And then at WrestleMania 5 in 1989, Hulk Hogan defeated Randy Savage to become WWE champion. But Savage thought at the time that Hogan was trying to hit on his wife at the time, Miss Elizabeth, which Hogan claims he didn't. But we hear no there with that. But that issue, that's one of the biggest feuds in wrestling history. That's what I can remember. That feud going back, I guess, when I was a little baby or something like that. But another match that I don't remember, but it played an important role. Hulk Hogan taking on the late great Ultimate Warrior as well. Warrior and Hogan did an instant classic. Warrior got made at WrestleMania 6 by Hogan. Hogan took Warrior to the limit, and Warrior was forever grateful to Hulk Hogan for putting him on the map and getting him to where he needed to be. And Hulk Hogan really paid dividends to what Superstar is, and Ultimate Warrior was kind of equally to Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan gave him the rub like he did. Another match that I probably remember personally was Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, WrestleMania 18. It was Icon versus Icon. It was somewhat of the passing of the torch. Hulk Hogan and The Rock entertained each other. Hulk Hogan returning back to WWE after a 9-year absence in 2002. Hogan a month later became WWE champion, and Hogan really pivoted to that, with saying that The Rock and him had great chemistry, and to this day, Hogan looked at The Rock as a close friend. Well, we told you that Hulk Hogan had a slew of controversies. Well, we saw Titus O'Neil, the New Day. They was kind of open arms with Hogan about the calling someone the N-word, and Hogan really said he apologizes, but he never made amends, and Hogan never didn't try to, like they was trying to tell Hogan, Mark Henry and Booker T wanted Hogan to go tour to tour, but Hogan wasn't interested at the time, and Hogan didn't want to do that, and I guess that's going to be Hulk Hogan's fault right there, because, I mean, he could have made amends. He didn't want to make amends. He should have, but, you know, he was too stubborn and stuff like that. Until we get to this right here, a year ago right here, Hulk Hogan was publicly supporting Donald Trump for president. He got Trump to propel Trump to getting where he at with the MAGA group, and Hulk Hogan campaigned hard and heavy with Donald Trump, and to get Donald Trump as he is right now, the president of the U.S. right now. And Hulk Hogan played a pivotal role in that as well. Like we said, Vince McMahon, the former owner, founder of the WWE, had a lot to say about Hogan. And Vince McMahon saying the world has lost a treasure today. Hulk Hogan was one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. He was someone that that was loved, admired around the world. He was a trailblazer. He was the first performer who transitioned from being a wrestler into a global star. And phenomenon, his grit, his unbridled thirst for success were unparalleled, made him the consummate performer. He gave everything he had to an audience who appreciate and respect and love him. He leave us with one of his favorite expressions: train, take your vitamins, and say your prayers today. We pray for him. That was from Vince McMahon, the former head of WWE. I don't know what Vince McMahon doing now. This man came out of nowhere. Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist and WWE Hall of Famer. Rest in peace, Hulkster. Thank you for opening doors for so many people in the business, including myself. There would not be a Kurt Angle without the American-made Hulk Hogan. My heart and prayers go out to his family. Today we lost a real icon. That was from Kurt Angle. Nature Boy Ric Flair. Ric Flair saying, I'm absolutely shocked to hear about the passing of my close friend, Hulk Hogan. Hulk has been on my side since we started in this wrestling business. An incredible athlete, talent, friend, father. Our friendship has meant the world to me. He was always there for me when I didn't ask for him to be. He was first to visit me when I was in the hospital with a 2% chance of living. He played, prayed at bedside. He lended money. I guess he talking about reading all that. But he said, no one will ever compare to you. Rest in peace, my friend. That was from Nature Boy Ric Flair. Kevin Nash, a fellow NWO member of Hulk Hogan, one of the founding fathers with Hulk Hogan and Scott Hall. Kevin Nash saying, I lost another brother. Icon doesn't even touch it. Rest in power, my friend. The NWO for life. And beyond. That was from Kevin Nash, a WWE Hall of Famer, and one of the founding members of the NWO with Hulk Hogan. Charlotte Flair, the former WWE Women's Champion, current WWE star. She said, when I lost my dad nearly 8 years ago, one of the few people who was there for it all was Hulk Hogan. My heart's break for Nick and Brooke. Rest in peace, brother. And that was from Charlotte. Charlotte Flair had a lot. There's going to be a lot of tributes going on. Mark Merrow, you remember Mark Merrow, who was Johnny B. Bad in WCW and came to Mark Merrow. He said, he's deeply saddened to hear the passing of my friend, wrestling legend Hulk Hogan. He was known to millions as Hulk Hogan. He was more than an icon in the ring. He was the man with a big heart, genuine desire to help others. He was proud supporter of my school program, Champion Choices, and he will always be willing to lend a hand. He will be missed. Rest in peace, Hulkster. That was from Mark Merrow. Mark Merrow. The Miz, the WWE star. When I was a kid, I had my vitamins and I said my prayers because Hulk Hogan told me to. He was someone I looked up to, larger than life presence. I copied, growed up, voice and flexing charisma. He made you want to be bold, loud, and confident. That was from the Miz. Miz taking the heart. Triple H saying the WWE wouldn't be where it is today without the larger than life characters and complete in the ring as any of them would be larger than life than Terry Gene Hulk Hogan. He was the architect of what it meant to be a superstar, global sensation, inspired millions to work hard in whatever they wanted to accomplish and made him look recognizable around the world. They always say about the look recognizable around the world, the airplane test. Sort of like if you go into an airport, people can instantly know who you are right then and there with the airplane test. Triple H saying there won't never be another Hulk Hogan, which it won't. Well, no, that'd be. Chris Jericho from AEW said, when I started in WCW, I had the pleasure of meeting Hulk Hogan in WWE. I had a blast entertaining millions the same way he entertained me for millions. So thank you, hostess. Paved the way for all of us. Please say your prayers and eat your vitamin, everybody. Just you never know. You're right about that. You never know. One thing about Hulk Hogan did play away, winning the WWE championship right there. The title, the Win Eagle belt from the 1980s to the 90s. That championship belt meant a lot. Even right here, Alan Pierce, the general manager of Raw, saying, I grew up in Chicago watching the AWA when we kind of should make mention that Hogan was part of the AWA prior to come to the WWE, and that's when the WWE utilized what the AWA was using and brought it to WWE. And I said pre-cable, then tent, rabbit ears, the incredible Hulk Hogan versus the world champion Nick Bockwinkel with Bobby the Brain Heenan. Original Hulkamania, Magic, loved it. Fast forward a million years later, April 4th, 2013, Jonesboro, Arkansas. I guess that's what he said, that he met Hulk Hogan. Christopher Daniels, another official AEW executive, showing this right here, meme with Hogan and Sting. So Christopher Daniels remembering Hulk Hogan as well. Speaking of Sting, the man they call Sting said Hulk Hogan the greatest of all time. Can't thank you enough all you did for me and for the wrestling fans all around the world. Love you. We'll miss you, my friend, Terry Gene Hulk Hogan Belay. Hulk Hogan, who can forget about WCW? Hulk Hogan had feuds with Sting when Hogan was heel at the time. It was Hollywood Hogan, and Sting came back as Crow Sting and won the WCW championship. It made sense right there. Speaking of that, James Storm, a TNA alumni, saying, "Thank you, brother. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan." So Hulk Hogan really expanded a lot of generations of wrestlers and stuff. Even we told you, he body slammed Andre the Giant. He took down he formed the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. He had that historic WrestleMania moment match with The Rock. Even the historic lawsuit he had with Gawker, won the Gawker suit. Chris Van Vliet, wrestling personality, paid tribute. He interviewed Hogan many times. He even dropped a podcast, which I suggest you listen to if you that Triple H wrestled Hulk Hogan in the ring many times and stuff. So I don't know who this is. We talked about Vince. Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake the Snake Roberts, WWE Hall of Famer, who was up there with Hogan in the 1980s. He said it's hard to put in words that Hulk Hogan meant to professional wrestling and entertainment. He may be gone, but his memory and legacy will live on. We know that John Cena, who had a run-in with Hulk Hogan. This is nearly 20 years ago when they were at the Teen Choice Awards. I remember this. When John Cena and Hulk Hogan shared or presented an award, and this was John Cena had wrote about Hulk Hogan on his text right here. John Cena paying tribute to the Hulkster. And the Hulkster and John Cena had their little run-in back in the day. Madison Square Garden, where Hulk Hogan won his first WWE championship in January 1984, paid tribute to the Hulkster with the banner right here. You know, Hulk Hogan really did make an impact in New York City, doing what he did at the time. Zack Ryder, better known as Matt Cardona, he had wrote, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, I don't know where I'd be a professional wrestler or even a pro wrestling fan. Rest in peace, Hogan. Live forever. I think there's a lot of sentiments and stuff going on about the Hulkster paying tribute as well. Jimmy Hart as well. We saw Jimmy Hart crying. He was kind of missing Hulk Hogan as well. Dustin Rhodes, not the son of Dusty Rhodes, AEW star, said, I know I'm late to the game about this, but I pray the guy remove hate all these years and honesty. I shouldn't harbor anyone for any of you for anyone. Like, are you a work in progress? Please do not read this and keep your message respectful. So I guess he's talking about, he acknowledges what's going on with a lot of fans having backlash, criticisms. Black Twitter having mixed criticism about they're canceling Hulk Hogan, where Hulk Hogan said the N-word, and some of them were kind of happy that the Hulkster passed away, you know, what he done and stuff like that. Now, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he made mention of Hulk Hogan. He paid tribute to Hulk Hogan as well. Stone Cold said just short and sweet that rest in peace, his condolences to Hulk Hogan and his family at the time and stuff like that. Now we can get to Eric Bischoff right here. Bischoff told him, thanks, Hogan, for the house. We know that Bischoff and Hogan were slated to work on a wrestling league, Real American Wrestling. I don't know what's going to go on with that. It was supposed to be on Fox Nation. Hogan, Bischoff made mention of it yesterday on his podcast that he knew Hogan was a little sick, but he thought Hogan was gonna bounce back out. But I guess not. Hogan, unfortunately, with the news and stuff, devastated to the nation and stuff like that. We see this right here. Kane said Hulk Hogan was a true legend. Was fortunate to work with him a couple of times, including this memory one. It's easy to do the Hulkster impression when, like me, is like guys my age. I practiced it in the mirror 1,000 times, glowing up. Kane was a Hulkamania. Who can forget when Kane and The Rock and Hulk Hogan was all in a segment? Hogan and The Rock was prepping, and then Kane came out of nowhere, and Kane started acting like Hulk Hogan, which Hulk Hogan speechless. Well, the man that made Hulk Hogan to me a star, Hulk Hogan, and Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone, remember Hulk Hogan was a part of the Rocky franchise, Rocky 3. Hogan played Thunder Lips, and Sylvester Stallone was Rocky. Sylvester Stallone made a quote and tweet saying, I had the pleasure of meeting this brilliant personality and showman when he was 26 years old. He was absolutely wonderful and amazing skill. It made Rocky 3 incredible special. My heart breaks that he's gone. Who can forget Hulk Hogan said that quote, in the flesh, baby, in the flesh. Hulk Hogan, they be doing some controversial, but hey, it was that. But Hulk Hogan paid tribute. Oh, that's Ric Flair. Sorry. But Hulk Hogan paid tribute to that. This was Hogan's final appearance earlier this year. He had was a part on board with the WWE with the Netflix special. Netflix coming on WWE, and now they came to Hogan received a lot of boos and that LA crowd, and Hogan was trying to figure out why they was booing him. They was booing him because he was in California and he was in a anti-Trump state that really don't like Trump. And now Hulk Hogan was trying to say I should have just went heel that night, but I guess the verdict was out on that. So Hulk Hogan will be missed. Some people won't miss him. I don't know why, but it is what it is. He had a complicated life, a complicated story that he could have fixed. But hey, that's what happens in life when you that. But he started good in the 1980s, becoming the face of the WWE, leading the WWE to the pro wrestling boom, the rock and wrestling connection, everything that Hulk Hogan established at the time. And Hulk Hogan did do everything he could at the time, but later down, he just the controversies and stuff that really, some people say, tainted his legacy, and the legacy that could have been saved, but Hogan chose not to do that. But his legacy will move forward, and he will be remembered as one of the founding fathers of the 80s that kind of took wrestling to the next level and helped get wrestling to the mainstream. No question about that. And how the Hulkster will be remembered. All right. Thank you all for watching this special edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. We paid tribute to the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. He had the highs, the lows, and the controversies. But Hulk Hogan, you can't say that he left an undeniable mark in the sport of wrestling. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show special, the Hulk Hogan, the man, the myth, the legend. I've been your host, Kendrick Dix, saying so long. We'll see you next time for another edition of the Pro Wrestling Show.